Hey everyone, and welcome to my top 20 albums of 2023 video. I know this is super late, but I still wanted to put this out because I get a lot of questions about what my favorite records are, especially the ones in previous years. So today I'm giving my top 20 and 6 honorable mentions for the year 2023. Please check out each of these records if you're able. And I'll leave my best songs of the year playlist on Spotify below. And let's get started with my honorable mentions. My first honorable mention is art pop legend Sparks and their album The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte. My next honorable mention is shoegaze outfit Feeble Little Horse and their record Girl with Fish. My next honorable mention is a little tricky because it's technically an album of new songs, but I didn't feel right putting it with the other albums because it's live. That's the way I broke the tie, but it's live at Busch Hall by one of the best bands of this decade, Black Country New Road. My next honorable mention is the first 2 pages of Frankenstein by the art rock band The National, Cincinnati's own The National. Next up is UK outfit Temples and their album Exotico. And my final honorable mention is by electronic producer and DJ Oneohtrix Point Never, his album Again. I urge you to check out each of those records. They're awesome, but I didn't quite love them enough to put them in the top 20. So here we go with the list proper, my top 20 favorite albums of 2023. At number 20, we have Volcano by Jungle. My friend first sent me Jungle in 2021, and ever since then, I've always enjoyed the grooves, the vibe that this band sells in general, but I never expected a sparse concept record built around a visual record of dance videos for each song would be one of their crowning achievements. You have everything from funk to hip-hop to disco, as this talented band and their guest MCs lay down a culture clash of influences that also stand out. From hits like Candle Flame and the eargasmic Back on 74 to the exuberant Problems and Every Night, this album will keep you dancing the night away. At number 19, I have In the End It Always Does by the Japanese House. Sad rocker, Japanese House is back, and she's returned with a swiftly romantic, yet harrowingly soul-crushing record. Synths and guitars come into the fray here, but so do some other elements that are new for her sound. The tropical dancehall bop, Friends, and the sad but breezy banger, Sad to Breathe, are some of the more driving tracks, but the intimate Touching Yourself also comes to mind as a standout. I also love the dreamy Sunshine Baby as well. Definitely one of the top tier cuts. Amber's pen game on this album is top notch, as it's been so awesome to see her grow as an artist. At number 18, we have Dead Club City by Nothing But Thieves. When a band evolves their sound, they either sink to the abyss or raise their sails and go full speed ahead. Nothing But Thieves' evolution has been interesting to listen to the past few years. They started out as a throttling hard rock band, and now 4 albums in on Dead Club City, the pop bops actually work here. Connor Mason's ascending vocal talents are on full display as he unleashes on a lot of these songs. The trippy and psychedelic pop banger Foreign Language and the hypnotic Members Only show the band's niche for aesthetics as well as strong lyricism. On the hopeful track Overcome really proves this point and drives it home. Some of the more funky cuts like Welcome to the DCC and the Rocking City Haunts help nail the concept of desperation and despair on this album. And holy shit, do not sleep on the progressive pop masterpiece Do You Love Me Yet? Although not all of the concepts scratch the itch, this is a critically slept on album that shows the band evolving the right way. At number 17, I have 3D Country by the New York band Geese. Cowpunk meets alt country on New York band Geese's sophomore album. 3D Country is the gift that just keeps giving. Going from slightly chaotic to chilled out, this is an album that gives you an experience like no other. Cameron Winter's off-kilter voice complements the twangy and bluesy instrumentals on songs like the catchy title track, I See Myself, and Cowboy Nudes. This album can also get downright bonkers and intense, with tracks like Mysterious Love and 2122 coming to mind. Truly a satisfying album experience from start to finish. At number 16, we have Javelin by Sufjan Stevens. 3 words explain this album best: heart-shattering grief. That is what this album is through and through. After the tragic passing of his partner and his diagnosis of Guillain-Barré syndrome, Sufjan strapped himself in and broke himself down on the recording of this album. Whether it's the harrowing Will Anybody Ever Love Me, or the emotional Goodbye Evergreen, or the lush shit talk, this album it just packs an emotional weight I haven't heard on many other records this year, decade, or in my lifetime. At number 15, we have Space Heavy by King Krule. Archie Marshall is back, ladies and gentlemen, and he delivers an album that's Blade Runner and Fantastic Planet at the same time. As to say, it's 75% acid trip and 25% noir movie. Space Heavy continues to build on King Krule's repertoire and knack for pushing the sonic barrier. On cuts like the acid trip-inspired sentimental ballad Flimsier, to the driving Seaforth, and the unforgettable 1-2 punch of a climax in the form of the brooding duo If It Was Only Warmth and Wednesday Forecast. I've enjoyed Archie's music in the past on albums like The Ooze and Man Alive, but here it seems like he has his most progressive direction that works in his favor. At number 14, we have Animal Collective. Whoops, I was holding it upside down. With Isn't It Now? Animal Collective, yes, everyone's favorite Baltimore vegan psych pop outfit, are on a roll recently, coming out with their most comprehensive and progressive albums in a long time, trading ambient post-rock on their last album for a more straightforward neo-psych and prog rock inspiration from the likes of Pink Floyd. Isn't It Now continues a phenomenal return to form for this band. Bops on this record come in the form of Gemini, as well as All the Clubs Are Broken and Broke Zodiac. Prog rock cuts in the form of Soul Capturer, Magicians from Baltimore, and the 21-minute slugfest Defeat continue to serve as reasons that Animal Collective are one of the best bands in the indie scene right now. At number 13, we have Formal Growth in the Desert by Proto-Martyr. Michigan post-punkers Proto-Martyr have been on a roll recently. Their sound the past 2 albums has included more technical and detailed songs than the throttling headbangers they were known for in the past. Formal Growth in the Desert is the next step in their evolution as Joe Casey and the boys soar with enthralling hooks and smashing guitars, as well as thundering drums, but also other instruments like synth and horns come into the mix here as well. The highlights for me include the mathematical Let's Tip the Creator, the anthemic 3800 Tigers, the driving elimination dances, and the excellent Rain Garden. Proto-Martyr continuously prove why they're a band to listen to for years to come. At number 12, we have Bunny by Beach Fossils. Beach Fossils return to us 6 years later with an album that proves why they're one of the most underrated groups in the indie sphere right now. Bunny is an album that displays a seasoned veteran of a craft still in their prime, as if Beach Fossils are still that youthful, ethereal group they were on some of their best records, like Clash the Truth. Seconds don't fade away, Anything is Anything, and Just Like the Setting Sun are just some of the highlights on this jangly pop rocker. This album is definitely the real deal. At number 11, we have Everything Harmony by Lemon Twigs. Just imagine for a second, you're back in the 60s, and Lemon Twigs are the next psychedelic pop band to rival the likes of the Beatles, the Stones, and wait, it's 2023. Awesome hooks and thoughtful lyrics sweep all through this album. Lemon Twigs blend sunshine pop, neo psych, and a sort of chamber folk into one of the most accessible blends of any genre. The opening track, When Winter Comes Around, has a beautiful vocal performance from frontman Brian Diodario. I think, yeah, Diodario. I got it. As does Any Time of Day. I also love how catchy and powerful In My Head is, as it rings out with charm. This album is just such a blessing to have in a music landscape where influenced groups are shunned out as copycats instead of legit artists. At number 10, we have Sit Down for Dinner by Blonde Redhead. Dream pop legends Blonde Redhead return with their trademark mesmerizing and ethereal dream pop sound, but also some noisier elements. Highlights for me on this album range from cuts like Snowman and Melody Experiment, but also great cuts like Kiss Her, and the amazing closer Via Savona. This album is one that continues to cement a legendary band's status among consistent indie rock groups. Give this album ample time and it'll truly transport you to other dimensions. At number 9, I have Shook by Algiers. When a politically charged band like Algiers is able to mesh thoughtful social commentary with uplifting hooks, you just have to be in awe. This is a band that has been going for nearly 10 years now, and each release sees them getting more visceral and mature. My first introduction to them was the 2020 release There Is No Year, which became one of my favorite records of that year. But with Shook, they have one of the best musical collaborative albums I've heard in a while. Guest vocalists like Zach De La Rocha of Rage Against the Machine and Samuel T. Herring of Future Islands lend their talents in the best of ways, as do many other guest features. Tracks I'd recommend would be 73%, Bite Back, Everybody Shatter, and my personal favorite, Green Iris. Still an impactful record the more I listen. At number 8 is Struggler by Genesis Owusu. It's hard to describe the sound of Genesis Owusu. Is he hip-hop, electronic, R&B, rock, metal, punk, experimental, accessible? It really doesn't matter, because the real question you should be asking is, how the hell does he pull these sounds off so well? Struggler is such a manic listening experience in the best of ways, as it sees a man going through his mind, finding vices and virtues in himself, and putting them out in the public. Tracks like Leaving the Light, What Comes Will Come, and Tied Up are perfect examples of how eclectic and awesome this record is, so what are you waiting for? Give it a listen. At number 7 is the self-titled album by Cutworms. This record is by Max Clark, aka Ohio-born artist Cutworms, and it might be short, but the mighty sound that this record pulsates is amazing. Max's influences like Elvis Costello, Bob Dylan are more and more are present here, but like most artists with clear influences, he puts enough of himself into these songs. My older viewers who are fans of more classic styles of rock music will be drawn to this record for its honesty, wit, and musicianship. Ballad of the Texas King, Take It and Smile, I'll Never Make It, Living Inside are all standout moments. I feel this is so summery and bright in those moments, but also cold and reflective in tracks like Too Bad. Definitely a standout record by a modern true rock star. At number 6, we have Pollen by Tennis. One of my best friends, Andrew, hi Andrew if you're watching, turned me on to this Colorado pop duo with the song Need Your Love, and since that moment, I've been a fan. They have such a beautiful and breezy, a sultry and sexy sound that is hard to describe, but is also easy to access and enjoy. The disco-infused Let's Make a Mistake Tonight shatters expectations, while the haunting Forbidden Doors with its eerie keys transport you to another world. Hotel Valet might just be the sexiest song I've heard in a long time. The way Elena Moore uses her sultry and seductive voice to convey a tragic love story is just, it's ear candy. The stumbling Gibraltar conveys a sense of urgency, while the closer Pillow for a Cloud ties the album together at the end with a sweet charm. No frills, no skips, just an undisputed masterpiece that is beckoning you to listen. Alright, guys, here we are. We're at my top 5. And at number 5, we have Heavy Heavy by Young Fathers. Ninja Tune Records, y'all are on a streak recently. Not only did you give us Black Country New Road, probably the best band of the decade so far, you also signed 2 older groups that have released 2 of the top 5 albums of 2023. Young Fathers are such an interesting and enthralling group. They commence songs about eating good while speaking about the injustices of the transatlantic slave trade. Who else can do that nowadays? And then name one. Hell, name 2 if you can. Their trippy psychedelic Afro-pop mixed with glitchy hip-hop is at full force on Heavy Heavy. The pounding opener Rice to the bluesy I Saw, the hectic and percussive drum to the euphoric ululation, the mind-bending Sink and Swim to the effective closer Be Your Lady. This record just has your head spinning more than Reagan in The Exorcist. The poignant social commentary makes this album super accessible as well as the fun pop sound, so please give this record a listen. At number 4, we have Slugs of Love by Little Dragon, the second of Ninja Tune's miracle signings, Little Dragon. This record, Slugs of Love, is the band's best album by a country mile, bar none, no argument. How is this band not more popular? Excellent production? Check. Great songwriting? Check. Experimental yet accessible songs? Check. Euphoric vocals from lead singer Yukimi Nagano? Big check. This Swedish pop group has been around for nearly 20 years now, and were even featured on Gorillaz' 2010 album Plastic Beach, but still they lay low. If you've never heard Lil Dragon, today is the day. Stop everything and listen to this band. Listen to this record, Slugs of Love, or you could go back and check out their 2009 album, Machine Dreams, or 2020's New Me, Same Us, or 2014's Nabuma Rubber Band. All great albums. Back to Slugs of Love, though. The experimental sounds are here, but this album's strengths are then, it's just damn fun to listen to. The R&B infused disco-tinged epics Amoban, Gold, and Kenneth, which are in the first quarter of the record, do a great job of highlighting how great the musicianship here, and it really just sells you. Disco Dangerous is a rapid dance track, as is the amazing title track, Slugs of Love. Seriously, my favorite on the album. Tumbling Dice allows Yukimi to flex her angelic voice, while guest Jid delivers one of his best features. I mean, the dude usually never misses. But on the track Stay, he just kills it. And the beautiful closing track, Easy Falling, is the last little hug this record gives you before ending. This record needs to be on anyone's list to listen. If you're into something more experimental or just good pop music that doesn't suck, give this album a listen and give this band more streams because they deserve it. At number 3, top 3 now, we have The Record by Boy Genius. My first impressions with The Record were not at all what I thought they'd be. I enjoyed a lot of solo work from each of the members, even though I do have my preferences for Lucy and Phoebe over Julian. Each of these women pour their hearts out onto this beautiful album that is one that challenges you to look into yourself and encounter the meaning behind beliefs and family. The album might come off as disjointed to some, but I thoroughly enjoy the softer moments like Cool About It, Emily, I'm Sorry, and We're in Love. But also the more aggressive tracks like Satanist and $20. This album truly fits the mold as something so special that shouldn't be taken for granted. The jangly Not Strong Enough and the sweet opener Without You Without Them might sound nice and accessible, but have lyrics that can make you cry and truly reflect on your feelings of life. I've cried to this album. I've laughed along with this album and its poignant social commentary. Three beautiful voices working in harmony is what makes this record so special. Even though they're not on hiatus from this project, I'm excited for what each of them are going to do next. At number 2, the runner-up 5 by Unknown Mortal Orchestra. This almost beat out my album of the year, but I found my number 1 pick was just too gorgeous to not be the top. UMO have had quite a run in the 2010s with their debut garage rock album, their 2013 psychedelic and lo-fi album 2, 2015 soul-shattering concept album about conflicted relationships, multi-love, to 2018's excellent disco-fused funk affairs, Sex and Food. Now, here at 5, Ruben is finding new ways to suffer for his art and deliver something special. During the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdown, Ruben moved back to his homeland of New Zealand to be with his mother, as he and his wife also had a child at the time. The singles for this record started dropping in 2021 as we had 2 excellent groovy pop tunes in Weekend Run and That Life, the latter of which was my favorite. But the more this album consumes you, it's just undeniable. Tracks like Layla, Meshuggah, and Nadia display Ruben's knack for funk and groove in the best way, while tracks like the opener The Garden or The Beach show that he's still a rocker at heart. The more haunting tracks like Drag or the eerie Shin Ramyun and I Killed Captain Cook are undeniable and hard to get out of your head. This might be my favorite album by UMO, but with such a no-skip discography, it's hard to pick a favorite, like picking your favorite child, seriously. And at number 1, my favorite album of 2023. Oh, sorry. Slipcase. The Land is Inhospitable, and So Are We, by Mitski. My number 1 album of the year was either going to be the most mind-bending record I heard or the most beautiful album I heard. And this Mitski record has a little bit of both. She's an artist that I foolishly never took seriously. I'd hear tracks from albums like Puberty 2 and Be the Cowboy and Laurel Hell, and they'd be really fine to me. I'd enjoy them, but they wouldn't keep me coming back. And that was a mistake that I'd like to apologize for now. Somehow the way this album strays away from her synth pop aesthetics and focuses on introspection with this rootsy, homey Americana feel that is so epic and grand, even at being 30 minutes long. Bug Like an Angel is an adorable opener, but is quickly followed up by the conservationist epic Buffalo Replace that is so progressive and epic, but poignant in its message of our treatment of endangered species. Mitski, being a vegan, does put these messages here, but not in a cringy PETA-ish way, but in a real-world sense. 2 beautiful tracks follow up in Heaven and I Don't Like My Mind. The orchestras, her angelic voice just bring tears to my eyes. When Memories Snow, The Frost, and the hit single My Love Is Mine, All Mine are just undeniably gorgeous, and the closer, I Love Me After You, is the perfect bittersweet pill that finishes the album with its message about loving yourself after a breakup. This album is just a masterpiece, and one that is hard to explain, and you really just have to experience it. So there you have it, my favorite albums of 2023. Let me know what you guys think of the list. Thank you for your patience. I know people have been waiting for this. Give me your top 10 or top 5 records of 2023 in the comments below, and I'll hear from you shortly. And again, thank you. See you in December for the best of this year, 2024, because there's a lot of great records that have been dropping. Thanks again. Bye.